Book of Endings. Oh my god. He's really making use of that book lore. Lord Autarch combining the power of all the books. What's up everybody, how's it going? It's Beck, aka Dansgo8 here, and welcome to another session of the Final Fantasy X Pbirdman mod. And in this session we continue our attempts against Penance. It's been a mixed bag so far. The first session that I had was, I would say, like, it showed some sparks and some flashes of good things that could happen, but as an overall thing it really didn't feel that great. We had the Delta attack problem, and getting to Delta attack was actually pretty easy. So it was this mix of the first form feeling too easy, but then having this really weird sort of brick wall of Delta attack triggering and not being able to trigger it in a safe way that kind of halted progress on first session. Second session was a much better time. I enjoyed myself in the second session. It was a very, very tough battle, and well, it did feel like it was a little bit overboard by the end of it. So we had a little chat once again, and over the last like 5 or 6 days or so we've been talking. Pbirdman has been working on some patches. I tried one a little bit before this just as a test, because I don't want to sort of air the first attempt every single time, because obviously I don't want to have like 10 Penance episodes. So I checked just to make sure a few tweaks that Pbirdman made were working, and they seem to be working. So what we're going to see here is the Mark III version, and this time my goal once again is to make it into the second form, and hopefully make it deep into the second form so I can have a good run. So in an ideal world, what I'd love is for this session to have that attempt. Maybe I can win. I mean, if I can win, of course, awesome. But even if I can't, I want to be in a position where I'm like, if the battle goes a little bit better, or if there's a tweak that I can make on my end, then I should be able to get the win. And then on the next attempt, hopefully I'll register the win and we can wrap this up once and for all. But it's one of these things where we've done our best not to try and rush it. I know people have been asking for it for a long time, and even though Pbirdman never specifically promised they would be done in the summer, my prediction was that by the end of the summer, by the end of August, we'd be very close to finishing it, or having already finished it. And that's true, because it's the 23rd of August today, and we are mighty close to having Penance almost ready. So I'm hoping that with a good attempt here, and maybe like either the next attempt, the next session, or maybe one more patch, we are going to be there. And because we want Penance to, of course, be, you know, the ultimate Final Frontier super boss battle of the game, we're doing our best not to rush it and to do it right, and to sort of round things off in the best way possible. So it might be a few weeks delayed compared to what I kind of predicted, but given the entire scope of this thing, and given that it's Pbirdman himself that's having to do all the tweaks alongside all of his like usual personal stuff, I think we're still on track to have this thing released and a download link available within hopefully a few weeks of me recording this. That's what I'd like to hope for, because we are closing in on the finale here. Now, before starting, there is one thing I want to show you guys. What I've been doing is, if you look at the Waka's a better example here. If you look at Waka's MP, I've dropped it. I've sacrificed a little of MP because we're using a lot of Mega Elixirs here, so it doesn't feel as necessary to have 2000 MP as some of the previous boss battles. Also, luck has gone up to 185, so we've got about 60 to 65 more luck than before. Obviously, I achieved that by basically any MP plus 10 or plus 20 node that I found, I got rid of on the sphere grid, and I replaced them with a luck plus 4. So by doing that, I've ended up with these kind of stats here, and this is getting close to sort of the absolute limit of the kind of stats that we could have before we have to basically redo a huge sort of portion of the sphere grid where we really have to optimize to the ultimate level, which would involve removing everything that isn't a plus 4. So go across the entire grid. There's a total of about 800 nodes here, and you'll have to go and clear every single thing that is not a plus 4. And then once you do that, you basically have to reconstruct everything from the beginning so that you can squeeze out every single drop of possible stats from the sphere grid. And well, given that this has already been 220 hours, and at this stage I'm probably going to add like another 20 to 30 hours of grinding time that I've shortcutted at the very least, maybe even more than that. Maybe we're looking more like 50 hours sort of range, 70 hours, I don't know. All in, we're heading towards around the 300 hour mark to get to everything that I've done in this particular run so far. Now, If after that much time we still need players to basically reconstruct the entire sphere grid to win the battle, it might be a step too far. Again, I said to Pbirdman, of course, it's your mod. If that's the philosophy you want to have and that's what you require, then that's totally fine. I mean, I'm not going to tell you that you can't or that you shouldn't do it. My advice is that I don't think it might be a bit too much. I think we should be able to win with these stats if we have our strategy on point. If you keep your cool throughout the entire battle, you make the right moves at the right time, you don't panic, and you stay consistent over the entire course. I'm hoping that this is going to be enough. If not, I think probably the final thing I'll go for is to maybe knock another 1,000 off the MP and try to push my HP maybe up to another level, like to around the 85-90,000 mark, and or push my luck over 200 and see how it goes. But in terms of requiring absolutely max HP, we're going to need a lot more spheres for that. We're not even that close to it. So we need a ton more spheres for that. Luck to 255 is going to require, well, how much more do we need? We need about 70 more, which would mean if you divide that by 4, it's still about 18, 19 spheres. So that whole thing is going to be a big time investment. I said to him, if that's what it needs, if by the end of this session, and based on your own notes, you think that that's the stats that we need here, then I'm just going to sort of hack in those stats, because I really, at this stage, I do want the mod to be released as soon as possible. And me spending another X amount of hours to get those stats manually is just going to be too much. So this is what we're going to go for here. I'm going to try my best to do it with these particular stats, and I think it will be doable with these stats, but it's going to push us hopefully to the limit, and it's going to be a real battle of endurance. So let's get into it and see how we do here. Again, we'll talk through any changes as we see them compared to the previous one. Okay, here we go. Let's get this show on the road. Honestly, the attempt that you guys would have watched last, basically the Mark II version, was, like, despite the issues that we had with it, I think was really, really good, because it really gave that super boss penance feel that I missed so much in like my earliest playthroughs. And I was thinking, like, how on earth am I supposed to defeat this thing? Like, despite having what I thought was good stats, in them days it was like Penance just felt almost impossible until I kind of learned the game better, researched how the strategies work and all that kind of stuff. Back in them days I wasn't so sort of like, oh, I want to figure everything out by myself. I didn't have that sort of approach as much when I was a kid, but I think over time, especially once I got into the challenge runs and that kind of stuff, then that obviously changed, and it became like a big appeal to sort of try to figure it out myself and not look up how to beat things. But I think with Penance and stuff, back in them days, like figuring out how to beat it and stuff wasn't so easy. So learning about like their defense plus 20 armor and all that kind of stuff was a revelation. So attempt 2 definitely brought back those vibes. I mean, despite having the highest stats that I've ever had for any playthrough of Final Fantasy X, it still felt insurmountable, and it still felt pretty much like a super boss that I wasn't sure I'd be able to defeat at all. So in that sense, I thought it was a very successful battle, but of course we need to sort of correct things the other way a little bit as well. So first thing, we faced Obliteration. That's the same in this particular patch, but well, the attack is the same in terms of that's the move that it chooses to use. And whoa, oh come on now, that is astronomical odds. It should be a 10% chance per character of being power broken, and we have all 3 power broken. What the frick? That's like a 1 in 1,000, is it not? That's insane. 10%, 1%, and 0. What the? That's ridiculous. Unless there's, I'm going to keep a check on this. I'm pretty certain that shouldn't be. It should still be 10% chance. So we're going to keep an eye on that. If it's afflicting power break every time, then we have an issue, and that's not how it should be. I might still fight through anyway, because as you guys saw in the previous attempt, I decided to just go with like continue to fight with power break because I need my buffs really badly. But what I actually wanted to talk about was not power break, because that's the same, but the damage has gone down a little bit from what it was previously. Now, it's one of these things where, because buffs are so important in this battle, and because there's going to be times when you have buffs and times when you don't have them, the extent to which you receive damage is really going to fluctuate hard. So, you know, as a very basic sum, if you look at something like, let's just say an attack that does max damage normally, it does exactly maximum damage. If you have Protect, you half that down to 50,000, and then if you have 5 times Cheer, then you lower that down to like around 35,000. So that's a massive swing in the amount of damage you can receive. And that's why when you're sort of modding, depending on what choices you make, even changing something's damage by a few thousand here and there is going to make a big difference because of how it multiplies with how many buffs you have and all that kind of stuff. So I also gave myself 99 Gambler Spirits, by the way, because it's such a long battle that 39, you never know, it might not be enough. So yeah, for that reason we lowered Obliteration damage a bit, because, you know, you've got 12 million HP, it's healing from Obliteration every time, and the battle's such an absolute marathon that even if it heals more for like 10 or 15,000 more every time it uses it, that's really going to add up super fast. So that's something we decided to kind of bring back down to earth, because the arms just have absolutely devastating attacks as you go further in. So that's something. Obliteration has been lowered slightly. Second thing, Ultimagia. This has been an attack that I've kind of... It's been a tough one for me, because I like the concept of Ultimagia, like even more powerful ultimate. It looks, even like on the screen, seeing the name for the first time, I was like, holy shit, this is awesome. But in application, I wasn't quite as happy with it. It's another one of these weird ones. Because of the magic formula, it's actually very difficult to get a magic attack to use the magic formula while still doing like insane amounts of damage, because you have a certain number of integers to work with, and I think it's like max power 255. So even if it's got 255 magic and the attack itself as like a damage content is 255, because the formula is a weak one, and I think modifying that changes way too many other things, it's quite an easy one to defend against, and that's why Ultimagia always does fairly low damage, despite it being a very powerful move if you don't have buffs, or like if your magic defense isn't like that great. So basically what I wanted from Pbirdman was to find a way to make Ultimagia more annoying or more menacing, more dangerous, and that kind of stuff. And in the previous battle, we gave it Dispel. Now, let's have a look here. As you can see, this time I've still got all of my buffs, which is definitely a good sign. And by the way, I don't have Power Break, so I was just extremely unlucky. It was a 1 in 1,000 obliteration that you watched the first one. But yeah, what was I going to say? In this variant, the Dispel is gone. As you guys noticed in the previous attempt, Ultimagia constantly dispelling my buffs was one of the main reasons I just couldn't continue, because as I mentioned, there is that huge variation in damage. It's literally 50%. And when you have something as devastating as Penance, taking 50% more damage from attacks consistently is a whole different ballgame. And honestly, since my stats are closing in on what is close to the absolute limit of stats, suddenly taking a 50% boost in damage regularly across a battle that's going to take like a couple of hours to do is just not, it wasn't going to work. So one of the reasons I wanted the Dispel was because I breezed through the first form in Mark 1. And obviously you guys saw that the arms actually had more tricks up its sleeve that I wasn't aware of from the first form. So that's why when I wanted the Dispel from Ultimagia, Pbirdman at first was a bit like, I'm not so sure, is that what you really want, kind of thing. And obviously, because I didn't know what the extra moves were that I didn't see, once those moves factored in as well, things just got really, really, really dangerous, and it swung too far the other way. So what we did was we removed the Dispel effect from Ultimagia, because again, it was just too much, and this is a battle where you're really going to need to retain your buffs for as long as possible. There will be times when they just disappear because they run out. Remember, in the Pbirdman mod, buffs have a finite lifespan anyway, and there's moves that can take away from its turns too. So alongside that, there is going to be one move that I know of that can take away your buffs as well, but it's not going to be as regular and as common as Ultimagia. So that's just some notes on that. Ultimagia is such a big move, and it's such a difficult battle to mod because of how long the battle is and just how much damage we're talking about here, that even making the slightest change, like Ultimaja dispelling, that completely, like, it made the battle pretty much impossible once that started happening regularly. So we switch that one back off, and Ultimaja goes back to being a somewhat sort of... it's almost a freebie move. If you've lost all of your buffs, then yeah, it will still do, I don't know, about 15,000 damage per character, maybe a little bit more. But while you have your buffs on, it should be a pretty safe move. Now, since one of his other moves is Terra Graviton, I think that's fair, because Terra Graviton is just horribly nasty, and it's very, very tough to deal with. So that's another change. Let's start to try and make some progress here. Good sentinel work there. One of the things I want to focus on, I mean, one of the goals for this session, as you guys have seen, is to obviously get deep into the second form. That's what I really want to do, because that's where we really find out how feasible this battle is. Form 1 is just a warm-up, so we've really got to get there. And then we need to start to look at things like endurance and, you know, realistically, what's the item situation? And like, is there a wither effect, which I found out there is. We're going to talk about that a bit later. With this wither effect, how long does it take before it takes effect? Is it too strong? Is it too weak? And all that kind of stuff. So there's a whole bunch of other problems associated with modding this battle that we haven't even touched on yet. So there's still a way to go. But as Miyamoto once said, a delayed game is eventually good, but a rush game is forever bad. And having come this far, and the fact that we're on the absolute final battle, just don't want to rush it, you know? Just want to do our best to make it right. Before watching this attempt, there was a few like little extra tests that we did that are off screen, because I don't want to have like 20 different episodes for it. But we are truly doing our best and working hard here to bring you guys the best Penance battle that we can. And honestly, like I say, Mark II was promising. So I'm just really hoping we can defeat the first form and actually spend a bit of time in Form 2, get a few more million damage in, and really get a feel for whether this thing's going to be possible or not, because we really need to start getting to that stage now. I probably won't show Form 1 again. I think this will be the last time I kind of talk through it and go through it, because I think Form 1 is pretty close to being, you know, as good as it needs to be. It's once that triple torch happens and we get near Form 2, that's when things are going to get a bit more shaky. So I'll probably start to put like save states in and stuff, and show you guys and test from beyond Form 1, or close to the end of it. But for now, everything's looking fine. It's looking more like Attempt 1 at the moment. But the situation changes once Triple Torch happens. The battle completely flips, and you're just absolutely hanging on for dear life when that happens. To me, that's why I find the battle quite exciting. Whenever you have a super boss that has a phase where you feel almost powerless, and you're really on the back foot, like that always feels very intense. So I always enjoy that. So we're going to try to retain that as well. We're not going to do it so that the Triple Torch section is completely nerfed or anything like that. But, I mean, combined with the dispelling of Ultimaja and all those kind of things, it did get really nasty. So, again, we're looking for balance. But I think everyone's still got their buffs. Honestly, in this battle, Mega Mighty G is really crucial, because it gives you a long duration for the buffs that you get. Much longer than just tossing a Lunar Curtain or a Light Curtain. That's another reason why the Dispel was so horrible, because you need an extra 6 turns if you don't have an Overdrive to get everyone's buffs back. And well, during those 6 turns, you have to heal from the arms turns and Obliteration anyway, so maybe that's like another 6 turns, which is a total of 12, and then by that time the arm gets another move, and then it can just be another Ultimaja. So you get into this like horrible loop where you can make absolutely no progress, and you still have like 9, 10, 11 million HP to take out, and it just doesn't work. So We don't want to just survive in this battle. We want to live. We've got to actually do something. Just tossing megalixirs endlessly and kind of being in a stalemate is not good enough. For short bursts, okay, but I mean, if that's going to be how the battle is going to play out, obviously we can't have that. So that's what we're going to be looking here. We need to break the stalemate and make progress. It hasn't used Terra Graviton yet. I've been a bit lucky with that, I think. It hasn't used Rapture either, actually. I believe, according to the latest mechanics that we have, is 50% Ultimagia, 25% Rapture, and 25% Terra Graviton. So look out for it. Are we unlucky here? No, good. You see, that's one of the ways in which you can lose your buffs. There's nothing you can do about it. If Shadow hits someone, it confuses them, and they have the next turn, then you're screwed, because they will always hit each other. They won't be able to avoid it. So, and well, they have the Celestials that ignore defense, so if someone gets confused and it's their turn next, you will die. So that's one of the niche ways in which you can lose the buffs. It's pretty uncommon, thankfully, as you've seen. But, I mean, if it happens at a critical time, when you're already sort of under the cosh, then you never know. But that's what I mean, you can't have everything. There's got to be some very real danger, and some situations where you might have made progress for an hour, and it just slips away. It's Penance after all. Of course, another thing we want to find out in this battle is, do we truly need absolutely maximum stats? Do I need to basically reconstruct the entire sphere grid to optimize every single inch of it, which is going to be, like, if done manually, that's a whole bunch of hours that you've got to put in extra to fight Penance. I mean, I won't be putting in those hours because we got a mod to release, but for you guys playing it, if you don't want to use Final Fantasy Editor, that's something you're gonna have to deal with. I'm surprised at how many Ultimagas are being used here. Again, I hope it's not a modding error and I'm just getting lucky here. Honestly, I think my buffs might be gone. I think I took 14,000 damage from... Yeah. So Ultimagia might not have Dispel, but it might have like a sort of a -5 turns on Protect and Shell. So honestly, I think the buffs last so much longer with this that I'm still gonna, whenever I have a full overdrive, I'm just gonna make use of it and just go. Because Waka's overdrive is coming along, hopefully I'll have enough to give Riku another one before too long. Good Sentinel again. I guess this stage is just sort of, once you have your buffs, you're safe, but it's just waiting for that triple torch and making sure you don't take any major risks, so that when triple torch does come, if you've not been healing much, thinking, it's okay, they're not doing that much damage, then you can get caught out. If you're down at like 40,000, 45,000 or something, and then triple torch hits, things are going to get shaky fast. I mean, I think it's most likely that you need repeat attempts once you're in Form 2, once you get established with the battle. So having a Form 1 that you can sort of plow through more easily, I think is better. If even getting to Form 2 was absolutely horrible, it's gonna... Oh, okay. Thank God for that. If even getting to Form 2 was like a horrible challenge, it took you like 45 minutes to an hour every time, then for repeat attempts you're going to be absolutely screwed, so I think it's okay that it's shorter. But I was definitely glad to see Rapture. The last thing you need is when you're hyped up and ready for a new new patch attempt, for something to have gone wrong and he accidentally disabled something and it's like, oh shit. Gotta wait again. So I think I will be working with save states here because this is such a long battle and there's so much modding to do. I will be taking breaks to save state now and then. I especially don't want to show Form 1 over and over again, so I will want to have save states nearer to Form 2 to carry on from. So I think we're good here. We can carry on. And you can really start to see Riku's lowered damage here. Once power broken, she definitely suffers. Okay, thankfully it's my turn again first. All good so far. He's kind of tinkered with the timings a little bit of some of the stuff that the arms do. And there was also a haste phase that I didn't notice last time because I was too sort of caught up in everything else. But there's even a haste phase that Penance goes into. So the timing for that sort of stuff has been altered a little bit. But obviously I don't know by how much and to what extent it's going to change. But there you go, Form 1 is down. No triple torch, so I think he's maybe been lenient and helped players to get through the first form without having to deal with the triple torch phase. And then he's really going to start to punish you once you get to the second form. So now, what we have is Delta Attack. And one of the major changes is, of course, that Dispel Auto Life is no longer going to be a thing here. Because his whole idea of trying to get an Aeon to shield for this and all that kind of stuff, given all the numbers that are flying around, it's impossible to keep track of. So the only way around that was to disable the auto life dispelling abilities of this Delta Attack. I did say to him maybe consider a different move, but I think he enjoys the animation as well. It does look pretty cool when Penance is like floating up and stuff. Yeah, this little bit here and stuff, it does look cool. So I think he wanted to stick with that, and well, we might have some other moves that we're not even aware of here. So Penance might still use Judgment Day right at the end or something, I don't know. And at least we get guaranteed overdrives, which is important. But surprisingly, I haven't faced a single Terra Graviton or an Uppercut yet. I don't know if he's removed them from the first form. He didn't say he would, so I don't know. Okay, right. This is pretty crucial here. Now we have to play the game of getting back up to speed as quickly as possible. Now, Sanlo has Berserk, so I've definitely noticed that it's hard to miss. And that means, well, since he used a lot of physical attacks, it's going to hit harder. So that's something we've got to be wary of. But I feel like at this stage, my primary goal should be Mega Mighty G, or I think I'll go with Mega Mighty G first because I want the auto lives in case I get wiped out a second time. This is literally the first time we fought Form 2 properly, so anything can happen now. We've got to be very, very, very careful. Okay, I'm going to quick pockets Megalixirs here. You saw this in the previous attempt. This is just the quickest way to heal. There is no quicker way to heal across all three of your characters. Singularly, you can use things like fantasy potions. This is a good call too, but I kind of need everyone healed to a point here. And well, quick pockets is quick enough that in a lot of cases you'll be able to get like a second Megalixir in. So we're definitely looking healthier here. And Riku's going to stay in Sentinel. I think Penance is hasted now, by the way, actually. Looking at that tail is just moving too quickly for my liking. And yeah, if you look at the CTB, it's pretty brutal, so we've got to be careful here. It's just going to be, this is like the hang on for dear life sort of phase. Okay, Immolation for the first time. Let's see what you got. This is the one that used to give you breaks last time, but again, like I say, breaks in this battle I don't think is going to be a very smart move. Darkness, I think I see. Chaos Blast. Yeah, the new moves are coming out. Ooh, okay. So with buffs it's about 10,000 each, that's okay. Book of Endings, oh my god. He's really making use of that book lore. Lord Autarch combining the power of all the books. Damn, that looks cool. That's a Giga Graviton animation though. Holy shit, he actually introduced a Giga Graviton move. Oh my god. Holy shit. Okay, I was not aware of that one. Okay, so he's given you your sort of Overdrive Sin and Giga Graviton, or like Unalesca Mega Death moment where he wipes you out on your first attempt against Penance. I think most people will do what I did and focus more on just healing enough to survive like an attack or two, or get auto life back on and that kind of thing. But I guess that Berserk is like an indicator of the Book of Endings is coming. You need to get rid of that Berserk like right now, otherwise you're going to die. So, okay. That's fine. What we need to do now is reload the previous save state. Yeah, so this is why save states are such a lifesaver when you're testing. Again, whether or not you play with them, that's totally your call. It's not for me to say. But obviously it's an added level of challenge and grind to play without. I think I actually happened to save pretty close. I wasn't keeping track of the damage, I kind of just eyeballed it. Honestly, with Delta Attack, there's not too much you can do, and it charges everyone's overdrive anyway, so I think I'm good to go. I'm just going to keep attacking. Let's see how many turns away I was. 3. 4. Okay, well that's our first uppercut. That's interesting. Once again, the animation will always show that it hits Riku, but someone else can get hit. And there you go. Get hit, he did. I decided to 99 up on my elixirs too, and I recommend anyone trying this in the future to do the same. Because there are going to be times like this where you don't really need to use that extra Mega Elixir. It's just, there's no point. And of course I did dabble with the idea of potentially removing something like Break MP Limit to give myself another slot. But honestly, without the Break MP Limit, your max is 200. And given all the quick hits and quick pockets and all that kind of stuff, it's just not enough MP to work with. So I said the same thing to Pbirdman. I'm pretty certain that the armor that I have now is probably the best and the best chance that you have of winning. Trying to add something like Auto Shell or Auto Protect or something along those lines, you have to sacrifice haste, which you absolutely cannot. You have to break the HP limit. I'm pretty certain you have to break the MP limit, otherwise you're going to be tossing Mega Elixirs constantly, because as soon as you drop below 70 MP you're going to be in trouble, and that's going to be literally every 2 turns or 3 turns. And yeah, well, Ribbon obviously is Ribbon. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that you have to stick with the armor that I have here. So I'm going to put another save state in here. This should be right near the end of the first form. Why is this thing stuck here? There you go. Hopefully this doesn't mess up my recording, but it's going to save me a lot of time in these attempts to not have to do the first form again and again. Okay, here we go. If anything, I'll probably save state again after Delta Attack, because it's going to play out the same every single time. So I didn't really get to have a proper look at what happened after Immolation. I should probably have checked. Because in vanilla it does have a break percentage. But what I was going to say about that is, honestly, this battle is one where having regular armor breaks is just not feasible, because there's just way too much to do. And armor break means that you have to dispel, and then you have to spend extra turns trying to buff someone. And if they're not buffed with Riku's overdrive, their buffs are going to be very weak and not very long lasting. So if that's happening constantly, it's just going to force you to waste too many turns and heal too much, and you're just going to make no progress with the battle. So I think that's why I think things like armor break should be kept to a minimum. Something that happens maybe rarely, maybe, I don't know, 3 times, 5 times to one character over the entire battle, just as something you have to keep track of to make sure you don't miss it. And I think other than that, it shouldn't be like a regular feature because it's just too much alongside everything else. And well, there's something different about Terra Graviton too, but it just has not used it yet, so I haven't been able to talk about that. So we get a few turns of breathing room here, but we have to use those turns very, very, very carefully. I still think I should mix the Mega Mighty Chi first. I just have to make sure I toss a remedy on the arm before I do anything else, like before Penance gets its turn. So let's see if second time round we can survive this. I mean, if it doesn't use Book of Endings, I wonder what it uses instead. Is it back to its usual moves? Or... Right, let's go for Remedy. So I really got to keep an eye on that arm. I'm sure it's not going to be the only time that it gets berserked. Got to be super careful. So this is going to be tight. I mean, I don't have a huge amount of HP here. And the arms that, well, we're going to have 3 turns hitting us. I feel like the odds of someone dying is still fairly high here after these 3 turns. I mean, Penance is hasted. What an arsehole. Seriously. Immolation gave us Darkness too, but at least it's only 1 character. And again, that's something I'm going to come to in a bit. Hopefully. Okay. 31,000. Can Waka survive? Ooh, it's a magic attack. Cool. So Chaos Blast at about 10,000. Unless Waka's been broken. Nope. Okay, good. It might be even the same damage. Maybe it's a percentage one. I don't know. Ooh. Okay. So it does that instead. Now let's have a look at the break situation. Damn, Waka got all the breaks. You see, this is what I mean. This is when things get really sort of tough to deal with, but it's only Waka for now, so let's just see how we do. And those turns are coming again very, very quickly. If anything, Waka being hit is fine here, because I can full life him. That's good. I'm okay with that. Ah, sorry, he had auto line. Forgot about that. Okay. Let's do an Entrust. Or should I toss the Mega Elixir first? I think I'll toss the Mega Elixir first. I do need to get my HP back. Wait, my skill is gone. Ooh. Just to show you guys, by the way. You can swap to a different character to get your skill back. That's something that's important. I think I missed it when my special first went in attempt 2. I think that's something you can do. So we'll check that as well. If the special goes to, that one is super critical, and you might need to invest in a second character to come and bail you out in that situation. Right. Gonna do that one more time. So Pbirdman and Riku are starting to get back towards safety here. I'm going to Entrust, and I think I'll probably still go for Ultra Null with Riku, and Waka will just be missing. Yeah, okay. So let's go for this. That turn is such an arsehole. Okay. Right, hanging in there. This time I will use a Fantasy Potion, because he's so far below everybody else, and it heals him for like 50,000 or something. And it has the added bonus of doubling his HP. So that's another important one to remember. So again, for now it's just pure recovery mode. but hopefully we'll get there. As long as it's not immolation causing the breaks, I need to check. If immolation gives you full break every time, again, I don't think we can work with that. Because then, like I say, it's going to be the constant repetition of dispel, try to put the buffs back, and in the meantime, you're just doing no damage. As you've seen, my damage up has completely stopped here, so that's why it's important. But we will always need to do a quick pockets eye drops here. And it's just trying to get back up to that sort of solid level of HP. But since we're in Form 2 now, I'm really just going to make use of these Mega Elixirs to the fullest. If anything, I think I'll toss a Fantasy Potion on Tidus too. I think I'm going to give everyone those. I'm going to try my best to not die here. Obviously, there's the small thing I just noticed as well. The overdrive gauge has started moving for Penance 2. I think in the first form it doesn't move at all. So it's another important thing to note. So now everyone has legit max HP. But that arm just keeps using that turn and it's a bastard. Okay. We're getting much, much closer now. I'm going to entrust to Riku again, because if things get pear-shaped, she's the one that's going to take us out of trouble. But we're getting close. I'm going to start to attack again soon, hopefully, if some crazy shit doesn't start happening. And I didn't see the regen either, by the way. Triple Torch still hasn't happened. I'm pretty sure it will. It definitely hasn't been removed. All of those moves are still coming, but we just haven't seen them yet. The timing is different. Okay, now we're in business. So it's going to be the first time, hopefully, I'm going to start attacking this thing in Form 2. Let's keep track here. Okay, just darkness for now. I believe there's dark. Well, I didn't actually know about the darkness, but I knew that there was a power break associated with it too. So I think he's continuing the vein of sort of slowing you down a bit with power break, but not crippling you with breaks all the time for reasons that I mentioned previously. So I think that's the right call. And again, power break, we're just going to have to live with it because we like having our buffs instead. But quick hit is gone. How do we gain quick hit again? Other than swapping someone out, I don't really know. Does he have the dash status? Let's check. Yeah, he does. Maybe someone needs to be hit with it twice. It's like an on-off switch, I don't know. But honestly, for now, instead of bringing in Yuna and going for all the buffs again, we're still test battling here, so let's just see how we do. At least he's doing full damage. And of course, Shadow hit is such a problem. Oh, there's Triple Torch. Oh boy. Yeah, so if Riku's turn is next and she kills someone, and we've been Triple Torch and that whole phase is starting, this might be, again, a game over for me. Oh yeah, the regen's kicked in as well. There you go. Ooh, he survived. And he countered. Oh my god. One episode. I didn't realize we could even survive that. I think it's because they're power broken, actually. That's quite funny. Wait. That is pretty funny. Okay. Albed Potion. Man, this phase is going to be so horrible. I'm going to let Penance have its regen. And I'm going to use... I'm going to bet on the fact that I'm going to survive here. I'm going to use Final Elixir. Because I already have most of my buffs. It's only Waka that doesn't. Okay. Here we go. Seeing that maximum HP, so clean. Yeah, Waka took the same damage as everyone else, so that's good for that move at least. But those big boy moves are coming soon. Oh, okay, he does have them all. Sorry, I think he doesn't have the... Oh, he does. Shit, I forgot. Fine. I thought he was missing some buffs still. I guess he's fine. It's immune to physical when it's in this state. So let's give it a holy. Oh, it's got reflect. No! But watch the damage here, by the way. That's what I mean. The magic formula is so incredibly weak that you're not really much danger if it reflects back to you. But I'm assuming something's got to be dispellable here, surely. So I'm going to try to dispel. Because, I mean, if you reflect it, it could hit one of the arms if you reflect it off yourself. So something's got to give here, surely. If everything misses, then it just means you can't do anything. Ooh, 187,000. What? What? Some ridiculous healing, man. Redonks. Okay, Thunder Drop. This one hit everybody before, and I think Pbirdman realized that was super aggressive. It either hits 2 characters now, or 1 character twice. And it gives us Curse 2, which makes life even more annoying. So again, for now, we're in full sort of recovery mode. Yeah. But I think thanks to my absolute max HP, I can kind of hold on a little bit more here. Downtrodden is a horrible move, so I want to keep Waka relatively high here. But I will entrust to Riku again. Her overdrive goes up more slowly, so... Still haven't made any progress in ages. But I feel like my time is coming. These are sort of phases, and once they're gone, hopefully... I mean, maybe I get my skill back, I don't know. And then I can really start to do damage. It's coming. Okay. I'm still going to Mega Elixir here, I think. Right. Okay. Now, surely, you've got to let me hit it with a holy. At least give me that. There you go. It's not huge damage, but it'll do. I love this move, though. It's a fun little counter. Okay. Rapture. Still no Terra Graviton. I don't know. I'm starting to get worried that he's disabled it now. I'm pretty sure he told me it was like 25% chance. Maybe he just lowered the percentage chance of it happening. If throughout this whole session we don't see a Terra Graviton, then I'll have to make a mention of it. Or maybe he replaced Terra Graviton with the Chaos move. But I'm pretty sure he would have told me if he got rid of it completely. Because there is a note about Terra Graviton that you'll see when it happens, hopefully, but if not, I'll explain it anyway later on. Okay, yeah, so I think it's like an on-off switch. He got his... but that overdrive gauge is going up. Shit. I'm going to Fantasy Potion Waka here for speed. Just too many attacks again. This is what I mean. Even though I've got all of my buffs and all of my momentum, there's always someone that needs healing to some degree. And like now, I don't want to leave Riku. Oh, it's Chaos Blast that removes skill. Ah. Honestly, I feel like even if you swap a character in, then their skill's going to go, and then... If it was like it happened one time, and it stayed like that for ages, and then it was an off switch and that was it, then fine. But it seems like a pretty regular switch. Again, now it's a question. Do you just attack or do you try to heal Riku? Is 45,000 enough? It is, so I'm just going to attack here. We've got to get back to it. You saw, like, with one regen turn, healed 187,000. We can't have that. We've got to start working back. Okay, Riku's getting picked on pretty hard, but the overdrive gauge is going up nicely. And let me keep check of what's going on here. That's okay. I think Immolation has a delay as well, which is unfortunate. I think one more and then we'll start to attack. I'm not going to try and get Riku all the way up to maximum HP. We just got to move. This one, I mean, if you always try to, like, after every move, it's like, oh, let me get rid of the status effect. Let me heal everybody so they're back to max health, etc. If you play that game all the time, it's just going to take ages. So Uppercut also has a delay. So Waka got delayed too. But I think we're going to start to chip away a little bit more. Only about 9.5 million HP to go, probably. But I think this can register as probably my first real attempt at this thing. And Riku just keeps getting delayed. She just doesn't have a turn these days, so whatever. There you go. There's Terra Graviton. Okay. I hate the move, but important note here, you'll notice that Darkness has not been included. As you've seen so far, even having one person with Darkness is like every single time you have to use a quick pocket to sort it out. In this case, I think it's better because at this stage of the battle you're seeing is a constant struggle to heal, to dispel when needed, to try to do damage via attack as well. But when you have Terra Graviton giving you 3 Darknesses, it's like 3 extra turns wasted every single time to get rid of it. So transferring like the triple Darkness of Terra Graviton to the singular Darkness of Immolation, I think was definitely a better move. So Darkness is no longer a thing for Terra Graviton, which I appreciate. But you can see they're just absolutely relentless. There's always something getting a turn. But thankfully with this many buffs and this much HP, I think we can start to use Final Elixir with Riku once she gets a turn as well, which is good. And we got our skill back. Is it worth it? Is it worth taking it? I think so. Yeah, he can do with a Mega Elixir right about now. You've got to have MP, man. Quick Pockets and Quick Hit is just too useful here. But now we're starting to move again. This is good. But again, things can change very quickly. You take a shadow hit, one of your characters gets confused, smacks one of your other characters, kills them, all of their buffs are gone. At that stage, triple torch happens, and I don't know, you get downtrodden, you get all this kind of shit. There's just so many things that can still go wrong that even sort of stabilizing yourself in the battle is like half the battle, literally. So there's still a lot to do here, but I'm happy that I'm actually managing to keep up here. Finally. And I think before the skill gets disabled again, I'm just going to keep going here. Arsehole. There you go. Okay, so this is an important one to note here. As you can see, Waka has mental breaks. So the arm swipe that hits everybody, that one has a 5% chance of full break. Once again, as we've been saying, we don't want regular breaks happening throughout this battle because it slows everything down way too much. But having a move that now and then gives you some sort of breaks, even armor break, to give you something extra to think about, if you don't check and you just keep attacking and someone suddenly just takes maximum damage and dies, then you're going to be sad. So you need to watch out for that. I think Immolation will kill you if you have mental break, so I've got to dispel this. Since Waka's got maximum HP as well, and he does have his 5 times cheer and focus and aim, I think it's a good idea to let him die right now. So it's looking way better balanced here. I feel like this is a good back and forth. And depending on RNG and depending on the moves and depending on your stats and that kind of thing, you're really going to be going at it here. And just in time for my skill to be disabled as well. Screw you. Still going to give Riku that overdrive to let it charge in advance. Okay, let's go. The only consideration we have at this stage, we didn't implement it for this patch, but again, if we're finding that we still can't make progress, one of the arms, knocking it down a tier of agility is something that we're also considering, but it hasn't happened for this attempt yet. I said to him, hold off on that one. Let's go Megalixer still. Okay. I think we're doing about as well as could be expected, but that overdrive gauge is creeping up. I think for that one I will summon an Aeon Shield. I think it seems silly to let Penance hit you with an overdrive when you don't have an Aeon Shield. I can't take that risk. And at least Riku keeps getting picked on here. For now I don't really have a problem, I'm just going to keep going. Just got to keep making progress here. Nice. That overdrive could be a showstopper. We really have to be super careful. And thankfully Terra Graviton is rare. It's such a dangerous move that you've always got to be very, very careful. So yeah, because of 5% chance, as you can see, you're not getting constantly bombarded with breaks, which I think is very good. Okay. Stick or twist here. I think I'm going to keep attacking, take the chance while I have it. Yeah, 86,000 is still perfectly good. And I'm going to use another final elixir with Riku if she gets the turn, which I'm hoping she will. So it's looking good so far. The next obstacle at this stage is going to be that overdrive. Come on, give Riku a turn. Okay, good. So far, Riku's just been using overdrives and doing nothing else for like the last 10 minutes, but... honestly, this is the best way to heal big HP that we have for everybody. So I'm happy to use it. And it seems moves like Chaos Blast and Immolation are doing good work on the overdrive gauge front too. There we go, Downtrodden. It's taken a while. Like I say, he's messed around a little bit with the timings of some of these moves, so they don't... literally everything doesn't happen at the same time. So I'm pretty certain you can't have, like, Penance goes into haste, Penance gets regen, triple torch happens, you lose your special, like all of those kind of crazy things all happening together, it won't happen. So, again, that's something that needed to be dealt with too. But look at all these turns back to back. This is the kind of thing that could wipe you out in attempt 2. And because Ultimaja constantly dispelled your buffs too, if you get caught in like a series of moves like this without your buffs, you're just going to get taken out very quickly. But yeah, Penance is back in haste and no skill and no special here. This is where things get absolutely horrific. So we've got to be very careful here. Just got to hold on for dear life for a little while. I will bring in Yuna if necessary to toss like a fantasy potion or something. But for now I'm going to try and see what I can do with just these three. I should have entrusted earlier. Withering Wind. Oh yeah, by the way, what the hell? Wait, oh, Withering Wind takes away all of your overdrive? Is that what it does? Yeah, this is problematic. Wow. Okay, let's bring in Yuna here. Uni! So, this is some clutch behavior from her. A little bit of this. Just trying to keep us in the game. and entrust to Riku, I think. She has no buffs, but hopefully with 76,000 she'll be okay to stick around. And then we can use Final Elixir to get back to business. Yeah, because my buffs and stuff are gone too. Oh, Tides could die here. This is what I mean, like these turns when they come back to back. And because I don't think I have the buffs right now too. Oof, okay. But that means Riku gets stuck on the front line. Okay, so here you go. Now it's a bonanza right now. And honestly, I don't really know what I can do to survive this onslaught to any greater extent. I'm doing everything I can, but we'll see. And that overdrive gauge is creeping as well. Honestly, I said it's not all going to happen at the same time, but I was wrong. I think it's almost impossible for Pbirdman to kind of time these things across the length of an entire battle. I mean, I think he has haste and regen right now. And okay, Waka has his special back, but I mean Riku's turn is absolutely nowhere. Waka has his special back. So, what should we do here? Final Elixir or... Honestly, I don't see what choice I have other than Final Elixir at the moment. Yeah, because I don't have the turns. So again, I just have to hold on as best I can. I'm not sure I have a choice here. This is very, very crucial stage. I should have thrown in like a save state or something, but it might already be too late. I'll have to put this one in the books as like my first legit attempt. There's maybe still 7-8 million left, I think, here. Like, I didn't make crazy ground, but we're sort of just about hanging in. And that overdrive is scaring me. I think the trouble is those couple of delay moves that we have, they're pushing my turns in a way that is making it almost impossible to keep up when things get this dangerous. But it's very close. Like at the moment, balance-wise, this is feeling really good. 187,000, man. Ancient Lights. Ooh, that's a nice name for a move. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Holy shit. Are you kidding me? What is going on? It gave itself silence. Thunder drop. I think the silence again is a marker like the berserk that the left arm had. What on earth? What is going on here? And Judgment Day. Okay, well now I'm screwed. Then again, Judgment Day you could auto-life previously, but as you can see, everything just happened too fast there. I couldn't control it. There was nothing I could have done. So, honestly, this is feeling really good. And I think for the second attempt, what I might do, I'll ask Pbirdman about the delay effects that we have. Oof, look at that. The emulator did not like that. Oh, it petrified everyone. And it ended the battle. So it means you definitely need an Aeon Shield for it, but you saw the turns that I got hit with back to back, and I'm not really sure how I could have avoided it. It's very close. Honestly, it feels so close. I'm definitely happy with what I'm seeing so far, and that was a nice attempt. But it's one of these I'll have to probably... I think I'll stop recording at this point and maybe test a little further and speak with Pbirdman and see what he's saying and probably come back with another attempt. And I think with the next attempt, I'll probably try and continue from the second form, so you guys won't have to watch the first one again, and we'll see how we do. So it might be the end of the video. I don't know how long I've been recording for, or like what the deal is, but it's been a great attempt. I think I'm really enjoying that. It was like exactly what I wanted in terms of once things got a bit hairy, I managed to survive, but I had to hold on. I couldn't do any damage for like 5 minutes, maybe longer. Then I had a phase where I started to claw back, and I did damage, but then I think, again, everything kind of stacked on top of each other a bit too much. We lost skill and special at the same time, went into haste, had regen, and then the overdrive was also close to completion as well. And then we have delay from immolation and from uppercut too, I believe. So again, like a horrible sort of soup of things happened at the same time. It was the perfect storm. And honestly, like the way I died there, I don't think I could have really done anything very differently to survive that. I literally didn't have a chance to do anything before Judgment Day happened. And it seems like a guaranteed petrification. So first thing I'll find out is, let's just say you engineered the turns in a way where Penance had a full overdrive and you had a turn. Do you just toss like an echo screen? You disable the silence and then it never happens? Or it's one of those where he wants you to definitely have a shield on? Because I think that's useful information, obviously. And I want to know that before my next attempt so I don't waste more time. So that's what I'm going to look into, and we'll have more conversations with Pbirdman about all of that stuff. So thank you to everyone for continuing to watch. I hope you're liking these attempts and where the battle's going. As I said from the start, we're very close to getting towards the end of this thing. The mod will be ready for you guys, hopefully, in the not too distant future. But we're doing everything we can to get it right. And hopefully once we do, it's going to be hundreds of hours of entertainment for you guys over the next 6 months, 12 months, 60 months. I don't know how long it's going to take for you guys to get to this stage in your own playthrough, but be rest assured that you're going to be playing a Final Fantasy X run like you've never played before, and there's going to be plenty of it for you to enjoy. So thank you for your continued patience. It's coming soon, but we need to do a little more work, and I'm going to hopefully come back with another attempt where either I'm going to win or I'm going to get very close. That's the next frontier. So we managed to make it into the second form and had a decent run at it, but I think we need a little more, and I'm going to hopefully beat it in the next session. So I'll see you guys soon. Thank you for watching. Take care.